Hello, my name is Stefan Schmeinte from ABBYY, and I'd like to show you how easy it is to get started with the integration of ABBYY Timeline into the Alteryx analytic process automation platform. To get started first, we need to specify our input data source. Now, in this case, I'm uploading a CSV file that contains event data from my inbound logistics supply chain workflow. And thanks to the powerful capabilities of the Alteryx platform, I was able to combine and normalize data from various applications into one unified and comprehensive dataset. Next, let's actually add our timeline connector. The configuration of this connector is actually very easy and can be done within a few seconds, just by simply specifying the server URL and the account name, as well as the password, of course. After successfully connecting to the timeline server, let's see what projects we have available and select the specific project we want to call up on. Now, in order to transform this event-driven data into process-specific business data, what we also call timelines, we need to specify and map at least three key fields. The overall ID of the process instance. So in this case, maybe the ID that belongs to the product that has been going through all kinds of different steps during the logistics workflow, which we call timeline ID in this case. Then the timestamp, which resembles the timestamp of every single event, as well as the event name. Let's just make sure that our date format follows the same structure as the date format in our data source. Okay. And that's basically it. We can easily add additional and optional attributes if we want, but let's leave it as is for now. Once we upload the data to Timeline, based on these three key attributes, this data is analyzed, interpreted, and then being transformed into business-critical process information. To receive these transformed and unified timelines in our Alteryx workflow, let's quickly add an output data activity where we receive and store our statistics for further processing. But not only can we use Timeline's process intelligence technology to understand historical data and to identify and enhance our business processes, but once we've optimized these processes, we also want to monitor them in real time. That's why we configured alerts in our Timeline project so that we can get so that we get notified via webhooks if anything unexpected happens. Let's store these alerts here as well. And the third extraction option we can also add would be to add any custom metrics that we might have configured in our Timeline project and save them there as well. After setting up our workflow, let's actually run it and see some of the results. Now, in the background, what's happening now is these timelines, which are actually 390,000 records, are being uploaded into our timeline platform and are being transformed very fast and being prepared for further analysis and process mining. After the transformation, we immediately receive our desired results in form of the statistics or the alerts so that we can, in our Alteryx platform, continue to process them and further analyze them. Once this is finished, we can immediately see what happened with the event data that we uploaded and after it's being transformed into actual process details. And to understand what actually happened or happened during the transformation process, let's just take a very quick look into ABBYY Timeline itself. In Timeline, we immediately see some familiar numbers. These almost 400,000 events contained in our CSV file before have been uploaded into a Timeline account and then being transformed into about 20,000 different timelines. Within ABBYY Timeline, I have more than 20 different process intelligence and process mining tools and technologies to gain full insight of our real-life data. Now, we've been talking about timelines a lot, so let's actually take a look how these timelines look like and how they can be visualized. Now, since we're talking about a logistics workflow, every single one of these timelines represents a good that has been ordered, delivered, shipped, and been going through the entire logistics workflow. And once I understand what I'm actually looking here and what I'm dealing with, I can start investigating and discovering more details related to my business process. For example, I'd like to know if during my logistics workflow, any invoices are being put on hold after they already have been approved. So to do this, I'm just going to open up a query, specify my required parameters, and filter down my timeline dataset. To get a different visualization, I can also call the path analysis, which will show me the different variations of processes that are contained in my filtered dataset. And so, step by step within ABBYY Timeline, I can use all different kinds and methods to analyze and visualize and monitor my process data to gain full insight of my actual business. Another important functionality is the ability to create protocols. And a protocol is typically a predefined sequence of events that I want to follow within my workflow. And based on my protocol, I can then identify if and where any violations occurred during my process. Now, to be notified about any of these violations, I can simply create an alert. The alert can then, based on the type of violation, based on the setting, it can then notify either a user directly, or it can be integrated into a different application using a webhook, or it can simply report back to Alteryx, to our Alteryx workflow by using the timeline connector.